Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Jacob here again, making another video here for all you blessed and wonderful people here today. Today's message is about the parable of the wedding feast, and you'll find this in Matthew chapter 22 verses 1 to 14. So that's the parable of the wedding feast, and it starts with, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son. It's ironic on how the actual chapter begins. Now Yeshua, what you call Jesus, is beginning to say that the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son. Now it's a story about him. It's a story about our Heavenly Father preparing his son for us, and it keeps going on. And the king sends servants to the invited guests, and they made all sorts of excuses. No, I can't come, my back's sore, I'm taking care of my children. I'm just paraphrasing of what excuses they were giving the king's servants, and they didn't want to come. And they went back to the king and they said they didn't want to come. So he sent other servants there, and he says he resends the servants, and the king has prepared like dinner, oxen, fat calves, everything is ready, but still they didn't want to come. And straight after that, a lot of them were even grabbed them servants and mistreated them shamefully, and they even killed them servants. And once it got back to the king got so angry that went back into the cities, killed those that killed his servants, and burnt the cities down. And then he resends new servants and tells them to go into the highways and the byways. Now I'm paraphrasing all this. Now you could read it in Matthew for yourself, in Matthew chapter 22. And he says to him, he goes, now go and invite new servants, both bad and good. Everyone that in other words, he's saying, anyone that accepts me, whether they're bad or good, I'll accept them. So he goes, go everywhere and invite everyone. And the whole place was full. It was full, chock-a-block. And then during the night, the king spotted a couple of people that they didn't have a garment on, and he sends the servants there, and he says to them, how did you get in? He goes, you haven't got that invitation. So the guards bind the man hand and foot, and was cast into outer darkness, for many are called and few choose. Now the story of this is, it's the story of Yeshua. Yeshua was saying plainly that he is the king, and he first came to his own, the Judeans, but they rejected him. And some of the Judeans, the Jews that were living in Judea, they killed him. So now he's saying, now go everywhere to the nations, and those that accept me, he goes, will be eating in a banquet like a wedding feast. But this is the story that you've got to look at, because where is your heart? You know, are you always getting your praises from people that love you? This is, now that you know that Yeshua is king, go now to the highways and the byways and tell everyone about him. All this kindness that he's got, share it with the world before it's too late. This story is to let you know that at the end of this story, those that were invited and they made excuses, and the guest that came in through another way and he wasn't invited, he was bound hand and foot and was cast into outer darkness for all his life. Now when you die, the question is, and he asks you, and you hear the words of God, and he says, what's my name? And you go, your name is Yeshua. My good and faithful servant Rebecca, my good and faithful servant Maria, my good and faithful servant Jacob, my good and faithful servant Bill, my good and faithful servant Alabama, the Alabama man on my YouTube channel, or my good and faithful servant Jason in Washington State, Mary Ann, Mississippi. These are the words that you want to hear. And now many are called, but few choose to come. Today, you hear this word, go to Yeshua and stay there. Get invited, then put that beautiful garment on and be proud to represent the Most High, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Much shalom to you and your families. I hope this has inspired you all, and may the love of Yeshua be with you and your families, and go make disciples of men, and shalom shalom.